Have you ever felt pressure to set aside your own needs? Just to keep the peace? Just to avoid disappointing your children? Or because you didn't want to cause trouble? Or because you felt it was your responsibility to always say yes? Maybe you've spent your whole life putting everyone else first. Your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your work, your home. And now, even in your 70s, you still feel like you have to explain yourself, justify your choices, or sacrifice your comfort just to make someone else happy. But let me ask you a question no one asks enough. At what point is it finally your turn? If you're over 70, if you've lived through decades of hard work, sacrifice, loyalty, family, loss, love, and everything in between, then this message is for you. Because here's the truth that very few people will say out loud. Backhand index pointing right, there are 9 things you should never give up for anyone. Not for your adult children. Not for your grandchildren. Not for friends. Not even for the people you love more than life itself. These 9 things are the pillars that protect your independence, your dignity, your health, your peace, and your happiness. Give them up, and life becomes heavier, more stressful, and sometimes even unsafe. And here's something important. This isn't about being selfish. This isn't about pulling away from family. This isn't about becoming stubborn with age. This is about finally valuing yourself as much as you've valued everyone else your entire life. So as you listen today, I want you to do something brave. I want you to open your heart and ask yourself, what have I been sacrificing that I no longer need to? Where have I been giving too much? What do I need to take back from myself? Because once you hear these 9 non-negotiables, you might realize you've been saying yes when you should have said no, or holding back when you should have spoken up, or shrinking yourself when you deserve to take up space. So stay with me until the very end. What you learned today might give you something powerful. The confidence to honor your needs, stand your ground, and finally say, backhand index pointing right, my needs matter too. Let's begin. After 70, you've earned something that many people forget to talk about. Something more valuable than money, more precious than possessions, and more important than what anyone else expects of you. Backhand index pointing right, the right to slow down, without guilt. You've lived through decades of responsibilities. Raising children, working long hours, caring for parents, managing a home, carrying emotional loads, and doing far more than anyone ever saw or appreciated. But here's what happens to many seniors. Even after a lifetime of giving, they still feel pressured to give more. Pressured to attend every family event, even when their body aches and their energy is low. Pressured to babysit grandkids at the drop of a hat, because you're home anyway. Pressured to fill free time with chores, errands, and favors, because people assume being retired means having nothing to do. And pressured to stay busy, not because they need it, but because they don't want to feel useless, unimportant, or left out. But let's rewrite that story today. Because the truth is this. Backhand index pointing right, rest is not laziness. Backhand index pointing right, rest is not weakness. Backhand index pointing right, rest is not selfishness. Rest is medicine. Scientifically, emotionally, spiritually. Your body needs downtime to repair, restore, and recharge. Harvard and Johns Hopkins research shows that seniors who prioritize daily moments of rest experience better heart health, improved memory retention, reduced inflammation, lower stress hormones, stronger emotional resilience, longer life expectancy, better decision-making, improved mobility. Rest literally keeps you alive longer. But many people don't realize this until their body forces them to stop. Think of Walter, 76. Kind-hearted, helpful, always available. For years he said yes to everything. Appointments, errands, babysitting, rides, chores. He didn't want to disappoint anyone. He didn't want to seem unhelpful. He didn't want to say no. But one day, he looked out the window early in the morning and said, "I can't remember the last time I watched the sunrise, or enjoyed a quiet breakfast, or sat without being needed." That moment changed him. He started protecting 1 hour every single morning. No calls, no chores, no obligations. Just coffee, the sunrise, the sound of birds, and a moment for himself. And do you know what happened? He said his mood improved. His pain decreased. His patience grew. His sleep improved. And his doctor told him his blood pressure had dropped. All from giving himself permission to rest. So here's what I want you to hear louder than anything else. Backhand index pointing right. Your rest is not optional. Your rest is not negotiable. Your rest is your right. Give yourself the gift of an unhurried morning, an afternoon nap, reading a book you love, sitting in the garden, enjoying a peaceful walk, listening to music, doing absolutely nothing. Not because you've earned it, but because you need it. Because it keeps you vibrant, calm, and strong. And if anyone questions it, gently remind them. Speech balloon. Rest is how I stay healthy. Rest is how I stay independent. Rest is how I stay me. Your peace is not a luxury. Your peace is a priority. Make your rest a sacred appointment. And protect it fiercely. Out of all the things seniors should protect, this one might be the most important of all. Because after 70, your financial security is not just about money. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. It's about having choices. It's about not having to depend on anyone in your later years. And yet, every single year, millions of older adults lose their savings. Because of one thing. Backhand index pointing right. Pressure. Pressure to help family. Pressure to do the right thing. Pressure to be generous. Pressure to feel needed. Pressure to not seem selfish. But here's the truth people rarely say out loud. You cannot save someone else by destroying your own stability. Let me repeat that. Backhand index pointing right. You cannot save someone else if it puts your future at risk. This applies even in loving families. Even when intentions are good. Even when it's someone you trust. Because the moment you give away money you can't afford to lose, your options shrink. Your stress increases. And your independence weakens. Here are the most common ways seniors unintentionally put themselves in danger. Co-signing loans. You're responsible for the entire amount. If they miss even one payment. Loaning. Just for now. Temporary support becomes long-term dependence. Giving access to bank accounts. Even trustworthy people can make mistakes. Paying adult children's bills. Especially when those children rely on you instead of their own income. Handing over retirement savings. Often out of guilt or emotional pressure. And once the money is gone, it rarely comes back. Let me tell you about Harold, 78. Harold was kind, loving, and generous. His nephew wanted to start a small business and needed a co-signer for a loan. Harold trusted him. He wanted to help. He didn't want to disappoint the family. And he thought, what harm could it do? I'm just signing my name. But within a year, the business failed. His nephew moved away to rebuild his life. And Harold, at 78 years old, was suddenly responsible for a massive debt he had never created. He spent 6 long years paying it off. 6 years of stress. 6 years of sacrifices. 6 years of sleepless nights. 6 years of feeling ashamed and trapped. All because he didn't want to say no. And I share his story for one reason. Backhand index pointing right. Good people suffer when they put others' financial needs above their own. Your money is not selfish. Your savings are not extra. Your retirement is not something to casually hand out. You need your resources for healthcare, medications, emergencies, mobility needs, daily living, home repairs, unexpected life changes, long-term care, your quality of life, and protecting your financial security. Doesn't mean you don't love your family. It simply means this. Backhand index pointing right. Your future comes first. Your stability comes first. Your independence comes first. Before helping anyone financially, ask yourself, can I give this without harming myself? If I never get this money back, will I be okay? Does this fit within my budget? Is this person taking advantage of my kindness? Am I doing this out of guilt or pressure? If the answer is uncertain, if it makes you uncomfortable, if it risks your stability, the answer should always be backhand index pointing right. No. Not because you're cold. Not because you don't care. But because you spent an entire lifetime earning that money. And you deserve to use it for your own well-being. Protect your finances. Protect your peace. Protect the life you've built. And if you're still watching and this message is speaking to you, comment number 2 below so I know you're here with me. Point 1. Of the biggest struggles people face after 70 isn't physical, isn't financial, isn't even health-related. It's guilt. Guilt for saying no. Guilt for asking for space. Guilt for choosing rest. Guilt for wanting privacy in their own home. Guilt for not being available 24/7. But let me tell you a truth that many seniors need to hear. Backhand index pointing right. Guilt is a liar. Backhand index pointing right and guilt is not a guide. You don't owe it anything. As you get older, your boundaries become more important, not less. You have every right to protect your quiet mornings. You're allowed to wake up slowly, to think, to breathe, to enjoy your coffee in peace without visitors, noise, or demands. Your personal space. Your home is not a public space. It's not a drop-in center. It's not a babysitting office. It's not a place for surprise visits unless you want them. Your privacy. Your room, your papers, your medical information, your decisions. You don't have to explain them to anyone. Your time. Just because you're retired does not mean you are available. Free time does not equal open for obligations. Your energy. You get to choose who you spend it on, when you spend it, and how much you give. Let me share Edith's story. Edith was 84. A gentle, loving woman who adored her daughter. But her daughter had a habit. She would come over every morning without calling. She meant well. She wanted to check on her mom. But she had no idea how exhausting it was. Edith never said anything because she didn't want to hurt her feelings. But every morning the knock would come. Again, and again, and again, and each time, Edith felt a little smaller, a little more drained, a little less in control of her own home. One day, after weeks of feeling overwhelmed, Edith finally said, "I love seeing you. But I need my mornings to myself. Not because of you, but because I need quiet to feel like myself again." Do you know what happened? Her daughter understood. She adjusted. And within a week, Edith said she felt like she could breathe again. Her stress dropped. Her sleep improved. Her energy returned. Her mood brightened. Why? Because boundaries heal. They protect. They create peace. They restore balance. And here's the part many people misunderstand. Backhand index pointing right. Healthy boundaries don't push people away. They make relationships healthier. When you honor your space, your needs, and your limits, you show others how to love you in the right way. And the people who truly care will respect that. So I want you to say this with me, out loud, if you can. Backhand index pointing right. No is a complete sentence. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to apologize for it. Saying no doesn't make you difficult. It doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise. It makes you healthy. It makes you in control of your life. After 70, your boundaries are not optional. They are necessary for your energy, your peace, your health, and your happiness. Protect your space. Protect your time. Protect your home. Protect your heart. You deserve all of it. There is one thing, one single thing, you should never, ever sacrifice for anyone, no matter how much you love them. Backhand index pointing right. Your health. Not for your children. Not for your grandchildren. Not even for the people who depend on you. Because the truth is, when your health suffers, everything else eventually crumbles with it. And yet, so many seniors quietly put themselves last. They skip heavy checkmark doctor checkups, heavy checkmark medications, heavy checkmark blood pressure monitoring, heavy checkmark physical therapy sessions, heavy checkmark daily walks, heavy checkmark healthy meals, heavy checkmark rest. All because they don't want to bother anyone. Or they think someone else's needs are more important. Or they don't want to feel like a burden. But let me tell you something with absolute love. Backhand index pointing right. Sacrificing your health is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. And you deserve better than that. I once met a grandmother named Rosa, 79. She stopped attending her physical therapy after her knee surgery because she didn't want to inconvenience her son, who had to drive her. She said, "I'll be fine. Let him focus on the kids." But within a few months, her mobility got worse. Her pain increased. Her independence shrank. And one day she admitted through tears, "I thought I was helping, but I was slowly giving up pieces of my life." The moment she put herself first again, went back to therapy, started walking daily, eating better, everything changed. Her energy returned. Her mood lifted. Her confidence came back. Her family even said she smiled more. Not because life got easier, but because she stopped disappearing from her own life. Your health is not a small thing. It is. Sparkles your freedom. Sparkles your independence. Sparkles your ability to stay in your home. Sparkles your strength. Sparkles your clarity. Sparkles your future. Without it, even simple things, like dressing, cooking, moving, remembering, become harder than they should be. You don't owe anyone self-neglect. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You don't owe anyone your decline. Repeat this with me. Backhand index pointing right. My health comes first, because my life matters too. So take the walk. Drink the water. Eat the nourishing meal. Take your medication on time. Go to the appointment even if it feels inconvenient. Say no when you're tired. Say yes to rest without guilt. This isn't selfish. This is survival. This is strength. This is love, love for the body that carried you through decades of life. Protect it. Honor it. Choose it, every single day. Because your health is your doorway to everything you still want to experience. And you deserve to live the rest of your life fully alive, not running on empty. There's something people don't talk about enough. As you get older, more and more people suddenly feel entitled to tell you how to live. They say things like, "Don't eat that. You should sleep earlier. You shouldn't be lifting that. You need to stop doing this. You're too old to be doing that." Sometimes they mean well. Sometimes it comes from concern. But sometimes it unintentionally steals your autonomy, piece by piece. And here's the truth you need to hear clearly. Backhand index pointing right after 70, you've earned the right to live life on your own terms. You've spent decades waking up for work. Decades running a household. Decades serving, caring, showing up, doing what needed to be done. You lived through responsibilities, deadlines, routines, duties, and expectations. Now, this chapter of your life belongs to you. Your daily routine is not just a schedule. It is your freedom, your identity, and your psychological stability. Studies show that seniors who maintain control over their daily routine have sparkles better mental health, sparkles stronger memory, sparkles higher independence, sparkles lower depression rates, sparkles longer life expectancy. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because your routine is your anchor. It helps you wake up with purpose. It gives structure to your day. It reminds you that your life still belongs to you, not to anyone else's opinions. Take this example. Mildred, 82, loved having her coffee on the porch every morning. One day, her adult children started worrying. "Mom, it's chilly outside. You shouldn't sit out there. Drink your coffee inside. It's safer." So she stopped. She didn't argue. She didn't want to cause trouble. But after weeks of drinking coffee indoors, she said she felt smaller, less joyful, less herself. Why? Because that little moment, her quiet morning ritual, was something she chose. Something that made her feel alive, calm, connected. When she finally told her kids, they understood. They helped her set up a warmer blanket and a windbreak on the porch. She got her mornings back. And she got a little piece of her soul back, too. So let me tell you this directly. Wake up when you want. Sleep when your body asks. Eat what nourishes you. Choose hobbies that bring you joy. Gardening? Go for it. Painting? Beautiful. Walking in the evening? Enjoy it. Listening to old songs? Turn the volume up. Dancing in the living room? That's living. You don't need permission to enjoy your own life. You don't need approval to choose your own routine. You don't need to explain your decisions to anyone. Repeat this. Backhand index pointing right. My life is mine. My choices are mine. My days are mine. Don't let anyone, no matter how loving, rearrange your life without your permission. Because at this age, every day is precious. And you deserve to fill each one exactly the way you want. There's one thing too many seniors quietly give up without realizing the cost. Backhand index pointing right, their social life. Not because they don't want connection, but because life slowly shifts in ways they never expected. Family gets busy. Children are working, caring for their own kids, trying to survive the chaos of modern life. Old friends move away, or pass away. Health changes make outings harder. Mobility becomes limited. And sometimes seniors simply don't want to bother anyone. So slowly, very slowly, life shrinks. Phone calls become shorter. Weekends get quieter. Days blend together. And silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. But here's what most people don't realize. Backhand index pointing right, loneliness is not just sad, it is physically dangerous. Harvard researchers found that social isolation increases the risk of early death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Not having connection affects your heart, your immune system, your memory, your mood, your sleep, your life expectancy. Humans were never meant to live life alone, especially not in the later years. Connection isn't a luxury. It's medicine. It's strength. It's survival. Let me tell you about Margaret, 81. After her husband passed, her world became small. Her days were quiet. She stopped attending church. Stopped meeting her bridge group. Stopped calling people because she didn't want to interrupt anyone's day. One afternoon, her granddaughter asked her, "Grandma, when was the last time you laughed?" Margaret paused. She didn't know. She couldn't remember. That moment changed everything. She joined a senior walking group. She started attending Sunday coffee gatherings. She even reconnected with a childhood friend through Facebook. Today she says, "I feel alive again. I forgot how good it feels to belong." Not because her life became perfect, but because she stopped living in silence. You deserve that too. You deserve laughter. You deserve conversations that make the hours fly. You deserve to know someone is excited to hear your voice. So call your friends. Join a book club, a walking group, a gardening circle, a faith gathering, anything. Say yes to invitations. Say yes to company. Say yes to connection. Even one good friend can extend your life. Even one conversation can lift your mood for days. Even one weekly outing can protect your mind from decline.